I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Now, today we're reading from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9. Let's focus on verses 8 through 11. And so it was, while they were killing them, I was left alone. And I fell on my face and cried out and said, "O Lord God, will you destroy all the remnant of Israel in pouring out your fury on Jerusalem?" And then he said to me, "The iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceedingly great, and the land is full of bloodshed, and the city full of perversity. For they say, the Lord has forsaken the land, and the Lord does not see. And as for me also, my eye will neither spare, nor will I have pity, but I will recompense their deeds upon their own head." Just then the man clothed with linen, this is an angel who was doing the Lord's bidding, who had the inkhorn at his side, reported back and said, "I have done as you commanded me." Now, when a newspaper wrongly published in advance an obituary of Mark Twain, then Mark Twain wrote in the paper the next day, "News of my death had been greatly exaggerated." But in contrast, Judah's obituary was no exaggeration. The fall of Israel in the 8th century BC and that of Judah in the 6th century are foretastes of the coming of another day, the day of the Lord. The Apostle John saw this day and warned us of it in Revelation 20, verse 15. "And if anyone's name was not found written in the book of life, he was thrown into the lake of fire." Ezekiel has been taken from the banks of the Chebar River in Babylon to the temple in Jerusalem. And there he was showed how far the Israelites had fallen from their true faith. Their worship had become thoroughly idolatrous. God's patience had run out. Executioners had done their work. First of all were the elders, and then the city itself. The destroyers showed no pity. The day of judgment had arrived, and what a day it was. Ezekiel prophesied the death of Jerusalem. This had been Judah's obituary in advance. Every follower of Jesus should have the burden of lost souls, the same one that Ezekiel had. The certainty of judgment should make us all fall on our knees and plead that lost souls would be gathered into God's kingdom. Ezekiel laid hold not of God's reluctance to save, but upon God's willingness and his promise to save. He could focus on the fact that God, how could all these people they're being judged, Lord? He's not focusing on the reluctance. He's focusing on the willingness to save. But that ball is not in God's court. He does not overwhelm people with belief so that they believe. No, that's their choice to make. And we're watching it play out here. When people have been given all of the truth and yet they choose to not choose the God who chose them. The return of the seventh angel, having accomplished what he had been asked to perform, indicates that God's wrath is tempered with mercy. He's still not out there destroying. It is a further incentive for us to pray, knowing that, unlike the prayers of the unbeliever, God hears the prayers of his children. Oh, he hears one prayer of the unbeliever, and that is the prayer to surrender to the gospel. But all others the Lord turns a deaf ear to. Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 18, "Therefore, I will also act in fury. My eye will not spare, nor will I have pity. And though they cry in my ears with a loud voice, I will not hear them." Now, by children, of course, the Bible talks of those who follow the Lord, as he requires through faith in the Messiah and through obedience to his word. John 14, verse 23, Jesus answered, "If anyone loves me, he will keep my word. My Father will love him, and we will come to him and make our home with him." In John 1:12, it says, "To all who received him, he gave to them the right to become children of God, to those who believe in his name." So while salvation comes exclusively through Jesus, there is no other. It is offered liberally to anyone who would believe and receive it. I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Now, Groundworks Ministries operates entirely through financial donations from faithful people like you. And yes, We need your monthly support. Donating is secure and it's easy at our website, groundworksministries.com. You know, another way to help is to tell people about Groundworks Ministries. Just share these podcasts with friends and family and on your social media. Of course, you can always direct folks to our website, groundworksministries.com.